Welcome back. So I hope you are ready to start doing something great from what you've learned so far. But before we dive in, let me again bring you to speed on some CSS properties you may see me use often in this course, so that as I use them, you'll follow along. I'll categorize them into 3 to make them easier for you. Okay, here are some CSS properties you may find me use very often, and they have been categorized into 3 major sections to help you know when to use which. So the first category is the CSS Font Properties. You'll be using these properties mainly to style text. So for instance, you have a text paragraph, anything text at all, you'll be using these properties mainly. You have the font family, which is the kind of font you want that text to have. And you have the font size, which is how big or small you want that particular text to be. That is the size of the text. And you also have the font weight, how thick or how light you want it to be. You want the text to appear. Then you have the color property, that is the color of the text. And we have the text align property. This property is used to align the text either right, left, or center. Also, we have the line height property. This property is used to give some spacing. It's used to give some spacing between text in a paragraph. The text at the top and the text at the bottom, the space in between is called the line height. So you use this CSS property, line height, to do such. And as well, we have the text transform, which is used to change your text from uppercase to lowercase or make them capitalized. Like I categorize these properties, they are all capitalized. So you make use of the text transform property to do so. So these are not all, but the most popular of them that you'll see me use often and often again. So let's head over to Visual Studio Code and I'll try to implement these properties and let's see what it will turn out to be. Okay, so here we are in our text editor, like a local development environment. I'm going to start implementing this property using, I would like to use a class name here, not an ID. So let's change it back to class. So I'll head over now to use the font properties to style this paragraph. Let's see what's going to look like. So heading over to index.css, we already have one of the property, which is color. So let's say font size, and let's give it something like 24 pixel. The font weight, let's make it bold. And the line height, let's check that, though we don't have much text, but let's still see 25 pixel. And what else? Text transform. We are going to transform this to uppercase, all capital letters. And what other properties? And in the font family, and let's give it a family called single quotes, not double quotes, railway. And mind you, this is a Google font property. So in case you don't have the railway font, you can download it from Google Fonts. Then lastly, let's see the text align property. We are going to align this text to the middle, center, and save. So remember to always save. Make Ctrl S or Command S your friend. So I'll head over to the browser and refresh. Okay, so my error here, I changed this to a class name and I guess I forgot to do that here. So it's still carrying the ID symbol, so this is supposed to be period. And let's refresh again. Okay, so we see that this has changed. Let's give it, let's change the color so we can see it properly. I'll make this, let's just choose one color here. Okay. Okay, so you can see, the color and the font size 24 pixel. The font weight is thick, is bold. The line height We can't see that now because it's not a paragraph, so we won't see the effect of that, but it's definitely there. Then we've transformed this text from lowercase to all capital letters. If you check the HTML document, you can see that the first letter is capital and the rest is small letter, but by the time we do the text transform over here, it turns everything to capital letter. So it doesn't matter how you wrote it over here. What matters is what you styled over here. So, and lastly, we see the text have been aligned to the center. So you've seen the CSS Font Properties. Now let's see the CSS Link Properties. Now to style a link in CSS, these are the properties you'll be making use of. The A column link and the A column visited, the A column active, and then the A column hover. So what this means is that the first link here, A column link, is an unvisited link, an ordinary link. So when you declare a link in your HTML documents, it is unvisited, it is normal. And this kind of link always have a default color of blue and as well underlined. So you might not like this kind of link, you might want to change the appearance. So in order to do so, use the A column link and then you put your properties within the color braces and change it to whatever you want. Then the second, A column visited, is how your link appear after it has been visited. That is, after you've clicked on that link. If you've noticed, for instance, you go on Google and you search anything, what you see are results, and these results are carrying a default color which is color blue, and they are all underlined. And once you visit any of those links and come back to that same page, you realize that that link you visited have turned purple. So this is the default colors. When the link is natural, like the normal link that's not visited yet, it is blue and underlined. Once you visit that link, it turns purple and still underlined. In the case where you don't like the color of those links, the default color, you can as well change them using these properties. Using these link properties, the A link, which is the anchor link, and the anchor visited, the anchor active, and the anchor hover. So let's head over to Visual Studio Code so that I can explain each of these link properties one after the other and show you how to style them just the way you would want. Alright, so I'll head over to index.html, and the first thing I want to do is to add the link tag, which is the anchor tag. So you can see that is the anchor tag, link 1, and just make it 2, and link 2. So what you notice is that as soon as I tapped the A, it brought out these other attributes, which is Href, hyperreference, which stands for hyperreference. Of course, when you click on a link, it's expected to take you somewhere, right? So that's the reason for this. It's telling you, it's asking you, okay, once this link 1 is clicked, where should it take you to? That is why it has this extra attribute called hyperreference. So since we are not linking to anywhere, we are just going to put the hash symbol there. And what that does is when you click on that link, it goes nowhere. Okay, so this is link 1 and link 2. Let's save that and preview on the web browser to see how it looks. Okay, so you can see link 1, link 2. So just like I said, all links by default is colored blue and underlined. And once you click on a natural link, it turns purple. So let me click on link 1 and then let's see. You can see, in fact, both of them turned purple. It's like I clicked on both. So you can see it turned purple and still underlined. So that is what I just explained. Now, I know you wouldn't like something like this, like it's looking too raw and ugly and it's not looking beautiful at all. So to style this, we have to use the CSS Link Properties, which is the anchor column link. That is to style the natural link. and then the anchor column visited to style the link when it's visited. If you want this link as soon as it is clicked to turn red instead of purple, you can achieve that using the anchor column visited link property. Also, what if you want the link to be a particular color, size or shape or whatever when it is active? Active means when you visited that link and you are on that page, you are actively on that link. What color should it be or how should it look like? You use the anchor column active property to do that as well. Now, what if I want this link to turn green when I hover on it? You use the anchor column hover property to do that. So let's take it one after the other. So we'll go to the index.css and I say anchor column link, and in color braces I put the property which is color and then the value. Instead of the default color blue, let's make it this paragraph color. Okay. Another important CSS font property I forgot to mention is the text decoration. So text decoration, in this case you can say underline, but our default link is already underlined, so I'm going to say none. That is to say, remove the line from the link. So once I save this and refresh on the web browser, you see our link have changed a little, but you can see it's still purple despite the fact that the color here is something else. And this is because I've already clicked on this link. And to show you that this is what, let me copy this and do the same for the visited. So I'm going to paste this and change this to anchor visited. So we'll see the red color now. So that is that. Now this link is no longer active because I've clicked on it once, so it's now a visited link. Okay, so what if I want this link to turn red when I hover the mouse over it? All I can do is copy this and paste and change this to hover, and then I change the color to red. So once I hover on this link, it's going to turn red, as you can see. Okay, what if I want these CSS link properties to affect just a particular link and not to all links that I'll be creating on my website? Because whichever link we create, no matter how many they are, they will be taking the same link property. They will be inheriting this link property over here, and that is why you can see what happens to link 1 is also happening to link 2. But if peradventure you want a particular link to be different from another, you can give the link you want to be different a class name, an attribute, or an ID. For instance, if I want link 1 to be different from link 2, I can give it an inline CSS here. I can give link 1 an inline CSS with the style attributes, and I say color brown. So that is that for link 1. And when I refresh it, you can see link 1 have turned brown. And even if I hover on link 1, it's not turning red because I've given link 1 an attribute and I styled it inline. But link 2 is still behaving the normal way it should behave. Okay, so that is that for CSS Link Properties. And another CSS properties you'll be seeing me use frequently in this course is categorized under the third property. And I just named it other CSS property because there are a whole lot of them. So, but these other properties, the width, the height, margin, padding, background, etc. and etc. So these other properties are what I'll be using very frequently in this course. So I want you to get acquainted with them so that as I use them, you'll follow along.